I'm Cape Jewel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic book show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we're taking a closer look at Grayson Annual Issue number 3. Someone out there is attempting to unravel the secrets of Spiral Agent Grayson. Will they succeed? Well, let's hop in together, shall we, and find out together.
Alrighty then, so if you're anything like me, you're probably asking yourself right now, when exactly does this annual take place? Does it take place after the fall of Spiral, but before Dick Grayson is becoming Nightwing again? Does it take place sometime when he was still an agent of the organization? And the answer the comic gives is, stop asking those questions because we don't actually have an answer, but hey, we have a fun story, we promise. Not exactly the best foot to get on. What we do know for certain though as we join the comic is that several popular DC characters have all been united in a dingy hotel room under the watch of one Jim Corrigan. That's the police officer who also just so happens to share a body with the spirit of vengeance known as the Spectre. Why these people? Why now? Well, to discover once and for all the true identity of Spiral Agent 37, of course, and first up on the docket is John Constantine telling his story of when he crossed paths with Dick Grayson. As the Cockney Wizard tells it, while investigating a vampire caper, he happened to come across an American with a spirally face who was getting chewed on by vampires. That wasn't the only thing John noticed, of course. He also noticed Nightwing's butt, which is really becoming an ongoing theme. The vampires, as we find out, actually bit off more than they could chew, because when they attempted to drain Dick Grayson's blood, they actually got a mouthful of those hypno robots, those strange little nano machines that cause them to burst into flames once Dick says the trigger phrase. Well, you know, that story didn't really go anywhere, but still a better vampire story than Twilight. Oh, badum-tish, all this time later, and it still makes them laugh. Next up, it's time for Azrael to tell his story. Apparently, while battling against the Church of Saint Dumas, those guys who more or less created him, John Paul Valley would end up fighting side by side with a Spiral agent with a messed up face. This is interesting because, of course, if you remember Batman and Robin Eternal, these two characters had met before, and Dick even says that. What's even funnier is that Azrael is totally enamored with Dick Grayson, talking about what a great warrior he is. Truly, he was divine in his own way. After that, it's Harley Quinn's turn to tell her Agent 37 story, and honestly, hers is probably my favorite. You see, Harley was attempting to knock over a particular rich individual with a collection of supervillain memorabilia. Dick was also sent there by Spiral to rob this dude's collection of one particularly dangerous artifact, that being a canister of actual honest-to-God Joker toxin used in the Endgame event. Harley and Dick actually end up bonding over their mutual gymnasty-ness. They're both gymnasts. They both do a bunch of cool flips and shit. And last up, we have Simon Baz, and I mean, really last, that's pretty much all of Simon Baz's character summed up, isn't it? He tells a particularly interesting tale of when he was dealing with a bunch of parademon incursions on Earth when they ended up catching the Eye of Spiral in Agent 37. The Green Lantern and the agent end up teaming up and defeat the woman who was opening portals. In fact, Dick defeats her very easily just by kicking her back in the portal. This one was by far the shortest of the stories, I might add. So after everyone told their stories, you're probably wondering what I'm wondering too, and that is, why does anyone, especially Jim Corrigan, care who Agent 37 was? And well, the answer to that is he doesn't care, because he's not really Jim Corrigan at all. He's actually Dick Grayson. Yes, that's right, this was all a plot to get everyone together who was smart enough to uncover his secret identity and his time with Spiral so he can wipe their minds once again. Let's forget for a second that most of the guys in this room are heroes, helped Dick out in one way or another, and you know, mind control and mind wiping in the DC universe has always been something of a touchy subject. Look no further than Identity Crisis for what I'm talking about here, but they play it off as one big gag before the comic ends. Dick meets back up with Helena Bertinelli and they swing out into the night. Grayson, in my mind, already had an adequate ending with its own series. Heck, that one even ended with Dick Grayson quite literally showing that he had the Nightwing shirt on under his suit. This annual number 3 adds very, very little. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if all of these short stories were just, you know, kind of script notes that they had laying around for stories they might want to tell one day but never had a chance to. You all, of course, will remember that I was a huge fan and huge booster of Grayson when it was going on under Tom King and Tim Seeley. The book kind of fell off, and I was really hoping that, you know, the original team would return for this annual to kind of, you know, put their own stamp on events. That sadly didn't happen, and what we end up with is a mostly superfluous story. Oh, none of it was bad. In fact, in many cases, it was quite entertaining. There's just, there's just not a lot of meat here is the thing. I mean, the era of Grayson was already done. It was over. This comic gives us no extra insight nor new information. The series had already taken a bow, and this, for all intents and purposes, was an unnecessary encore. But it was ultimately decent, which is why I give it a 6 out of 10. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and while you're here, why not check out another video I have on offer, or maybe if you're feeling in a supportive mood, you want to like or subscribe. And if you want to support the creation of more videos just like this one, then please by all means check out the Cape Joel Patreon. A little bit goes a very long way, and I will see you all next time.